Oh, you guys, yes, this was everything I needed. Oh, now I just want to say, I'm going to start off saying that I wanted to do a reaction review, but I don't have Jared here to be in that reaction review, so I'm going to just do a review for this episode, and next week we'll do the whole reaction thing. And most likely Jared will be in the review for next week's episode. But tonight's episode, episode 7, that was just the ending. If anybody saw, or if anybody didn't see the episode, you shouldn't even be watching my review because I'm just going to be talking about the episode. I'm just going to jump way to the end. I had to scream when I saw that ending. And like I said, I'm assuming everybody that's watching this saw the episode. But Cersei getting arrested, oh, that was better than Joffrey's death. That was better than everything. That was just revenge. Huh. And her reaction, I was like, oh, yes, this is all I wanted her to do. I want her to hate every moment of this. This is like the beginning of the best part of all the seasons to me, okay? So, anyway, I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this episode. We started off with Jon is going over to work something out with the Wildling Army. They're doing that whole thing. And unfortunately, Aemon died. Aemon Targaryen, he's dead. I like that old guy too. I mean, he was just a very wise guy. He was just a very knowledgeable man, and he always had some wisdom to give to Jon. I love the whole ending of this episode, how it ended up with Cersei. But the worst part of the episode had to be when, what's his name? Sam? Gilly, yeah, that's her name. Gilly. That scene, that was so hard to watch. Why did they have to show them making stuff? Doing stuff? That was just too much for me. I just didn't like that at all. God, I was just like holding my pillow, just cringing at that whole scene. And people talk about, I heard somebody post about Grey Worm and Missandei, their whole thing, them being annoyed that I would rather watch their whole scene. He don't even have nothing to be able to do anything to Missandei. He can't even do what Sam was trying to do, but I'll still rather watch them try. Because I just couldn't stand this whole nasty, disgusting, him sitting. Okay, I'm just gonna, whatever that scene, I don't know why they showed it. That needs to be taken off. That's too explicit for the Game of Thrones. So they have a whole Sansa thing. That was just sad because I was thinking that Sansa was gonna work out something with Theon, and I think that she was actually working out with something. And he was gonna actually try to go and help her out, I believe. But Ramsay's a little dirty behind, got the upper hand, and he was already there. I guess he was 2 steps ahead of him. How the hell does he do that? I don't know. He just has some type of dirty ways where he just knows whatever you're thinking, just so he can manipulate you even more. But so he found out what they're doing, and we find out that he's been coming to see Sansa every night, and this and that, and that's nasty. And he killed the old lady that was trying to help Sansa. I'm like, that's making you feel powerless. I feel powerless for her right there. I was just like, this old nice lady who was just looking like, that nobody wanted to hurt. I couldn't expect this old lady just to die like this. That was just terrifying to me. I mean, putting myself in Sansa's shoes, I was like, she thought she actually had a plan B. She actually had some way to get out of there, and it's just terrible for her. I feel so sorry for poor Sansa. I actually do feel sorry for her now. Last episode, I thought it was a little hyped up when they had the whole scene at the end when she got, kind of raped after they just got married. But I think it's gotten a lot worse now because it's a more than one time thing, and there's no fix to it that we can see right now. So, and Brienne is just waiting, like, come on, just give me a sign. I'm coming run up in there and just cut everybody. And that's what she's waiting for. So that whole scene was very interesting. I just want Ramsay even more to die. And we see that Stannis is not being stopped by the winter snow. He is still determined to keep going, even with his advice from his Hand of the King. And so he's going to just keep marching and going to try to take Winterfell because when the snow comes, it's pretty much no going off and trying to fight the elements or whatever. You're just gonna have to stay where you are. And of course, they went back to Dawn for a little while, and they showed the whole situation was going on with Marcella. She does not want to leave because she's in love with her boo. So Jaime is gonna have some trouble trying to get her out of there, and maybe he's gonna have to break the news to her that he's her daddy. So that's gonna be some big news for her. Maybe that will be what gets her to leave. And then they showed the whole thing with the 3 sand snakes and Bron in prison cells right next to each other. And Bron he didn't want to say she was the prettiest woman in the world, but in my opinion, she was convincingly the prettiest woman in the world. I believed it. That was an interesting scene, to say the least. But yeah, she revealed the news that he was actually poisoned, which everybody I'm sure knew, because anytime you get cut by a martell, you're gonna have some lasting effects because they got some poison on their blades. That's all they do. They master in poison. So she gave him the antidote though, and that was just a whole interesting scene. I guess he probably has another level of respect for them because he knows they don't play. He could have been dead right there. She basically spared his life. And then Lady Olenna tried to work with the High Sparrow, but that didn't work out so well. I mean, they had a nice little discussion. I did like that. They're 2 older, very up there, established people talking about their aches and pains. So it was like, they can kind of relate to each other in that respect. So that was very interesting. Of course, she tried to reason with him, but he wasn't having any of it. He's like, you don't understand that my purpose is higher than money and all that stuff. And the few rich is basically what he was saying. And so she living there, she was pissed off, but she got a little note from that you can see on the emblem that was from Lord Baelish. And so I was like, oh yeah, I know Lord Baelish is of course going to work out something because they worked with each other before. She didn't trust him, rightfully so, but she said that we both killed Joffrey, was what she was saying. We both killed Joffrey, so our destinies are aligned, so we better work this out. You better help me out. And of course, that's what he was already planning, because he wants Cersei in prison, or he wants her out of power, because she is not good for his business, for one, and just for everything on the kingdom. She's letting stuff run wild. So that is what is part of his plan, to get her removed. And he said that I have a young man for you. The other young man was Oliver, I believe his name is, that helped out Cersei's side because he ratted on Loras about their engagements. But in this case, it was Cersei's cousin, Lancel. Yeah, Lancel Lannister, brother Lancel now. And he spit all types of stuff about Cersei, rightfully so. Like I said, when the High Sparrow started saying, turn it around on her, I was just like, oh yes, is this what's about to happen? Is she gonna get arrested? Oh, I was like, yes, because it had to happen. It just had to happen. She had to get arrested because she got way too much. I mean, the stuff with Jaime, she's the most corrupt. It's like she's the queen of corrupt. So to be trying to call out other people, and she's just a big hypocrite. So I just was like, yes, I screamed like a little girl when I saw that, because I wanted her to get arrested. This was so satisfying for me. And that whole scene with her and Tommen, I at least liked Tommen showing his emotions about Marjorie getting arrested and how he felt about that, because, of course, that he loved her and he is really upset about that. He was tearful. He was passionate. It was the loudest I heard him talk. He said, I'm gonna kill everyone. I was like, oh man, this kid, he really got his buttons pushed now. He probably is not gonna do it, but at least he's talking a good game like he wants to. Cersei, that was just disgusting to me, because she was like, she seemed so sincere how she was talking about, I will do anything for you. You're my son. I was just like, this is so sick. It's like she means this, but she's not going to free Marjorie for him. All she wants to do is get Marjorie and Loras killed. That's all she wants to do. So, but at the same time, I think she does love her children, and she would do anything for him. But so I was confused at that scene, and I was mad at him being stupid, believing that she would actually try to help Marjorie, and him not seeing what was going on when Marjorie kind of tried to explain, but maybe Marjorie didn't give him enough information. He's still young, so he's still a little naive about the whole thing. But yeah, I think that was probably, maybe that scene was because it was the last time Cersei's gonna see her son for a little while before she ends up being just shown for the woman she is, who she truly is, and what type of dirt she really has been doing. I was like, I don't want to see her try to have some type of emotion, have people feel sorry for her. She has no type of pity coming from me. She just deserves no mercy. So hopefully that's what she'll get. Maybe a little mercy, because I don't want her to die. I just want her to suffer. She was telling the woman to let her go. I don't know who that big woman was, but she definitely had her in a light arm lock or something. She had some type of wrestling move on. It's just like, you ain't getting loose from me. I'm a big old lady. She reminded me of Brienne, really. And that whole scene with Marjorie, when she was visiting Marjorie wasn't having it. She knows she was just being like fake and trying to just act like this way just for show. And she threw that pot. She was probably trying to poison and kill her. I wouldn't eat that stuff either. I don't even care if I was hungry. I would rather be hungry than be like dying and puking out my guts on whatever Cersei Lannister was trying to feed. And so she was just like, get out of here, bitch. I was like, yes. Tell that woman, you may be sitting in your feces and in a corner and just sweating buckshot, starving and just going crazy, but you don't need Cersei. You don't need to show her that you need her. Just tell her to get out. Just like, get out and just let me sit here and just suffer on my own. I don't need you to be looking at me. Just leave. So that's what she told her. And it worked out, because now Cersei's gonna be sitting in her own corner eating whatever bugs on the ground and probably looking at home poo. So it probably will be even worse for her, because her sins are a lot worse than Marjorie's. So she deserves probably even a worse dungeon. She slept with her own cousin, maybe Lancel, I forgot his name, Lancel Lannister, maybe he told her about Jaime too, about her brother and all kinds of other stuff. So she'll probably have a worse cell, a couple of floors down. Anyway, it was a great episode. I loved it. I mean, we had the whole Jorah Mormont and Tyrion. They got sold off to the fighting pits or whatever, to this guy who was taking people to the fighting pits, and they got to meet Dany. So that was very interesting. I was like, Dany, you better take Jorah Mormont. He is like your ticket to actually being able to do something right now and to get your way to King's Landing, because you don't really have any advisors, especially ones that you've known for a long time and you can trust. Maybe she doesn't feel she can trust her. She can trust his counsel, but she needs to learn how to try to trust it. Because if he made it all that way, then maybe he's not the traitor you think. So hopefully she gets over it. But yeah, like I said, it was a great episode. Next week, I think this episode might be even better, because the next week, episode 8, because I get to see some of Cersei suffering, and we'll try to do a reaction for you guys. So until next week, guys, peace out. Please leave a comment, like this video if you like it. Subscribe to my channel also. Thank you, and see you next time.